Parents of Reddit, what is the most ingenious thing you've had to punish your kids for? When my son was 3, he had just basically finished potty training. He never had accidents. One day we got him a new small bath toy and let him play with it in the sink for a few minutes before bedtime. Not even 10 minutes after he got in bed, he started crying. We went to check on him and he had wet the bed. So as my wife is changing the sheets, I'm cleaning him up in the bathroom, when he suddenly says, "Do I take a bath now?" And then it dawned on me. So I asked, "Did you wet the bed on purpose so that we'd give you a bath so that you could play with your new toy?" To which he hung his head and muttered, "Yeah." I stepped away for a minute, thinking I was mad, but I was really just laughing. We cleaned him up and put him back to bed, but damn if he didn't have the conniving to think all that through. My son, 3 at the time, shredded a block of packing foam into the back of the floor fan like it was a cheese grater and made it snow in July. Suddenly there were tons of little white dots floating down the stairs. I hear giggles and it's snowing. I have never been so impressed and so angry at the same time. It's been 4 years and I still occasionally find those damn foam pieces. Oh god. Mine set up a sort of trading hub at school. We still have, a discount shop in town, the 99p store. These days it sells some real crap, but a dozen years ago, and more, it had all sorts of bankrupt stock bargains in there. Sweets, drinks, you name it. My kid would save his pocket money, take a large knapsack, and stagger back under a humongous load of stuff. I remember the Powerade, 99p for a 6-pack. And all this stuff would be clandestinely sold at school, undercutting the school shop along the way. He got caught, of course. I think the bubble gum was his downfall. It got stuck to everything, and inquiries were made. So it all went quiet for a few weeks, and then I got home from work and my wife said, "Mr. Shine Jr. has something to tell you," and there was the kid with the guiltiest hangdog expression you ever saw. I've been excluded from school for a week. What for? For selling my stuff. You've been continuing to do it? You silly sod. Oh well, it's not the crime of the century, but don't do it again, you hear? They'll be looking out for you. And then a crafty look came over his little face. That's okay. I can get my third parties to do it for me. You're what? Too young to know the word distributors, but it turned out that he'd worked it out himself, that it was easier and quicker to pass bulk stock over to other kids, and let them sell it for him, in exchange for a percentage. Punishment was a minor stoppage of pocket money, as I recall, so nothing too serious, partly because at this point I cracked up and started laughing out loud instead of playing the outraged parent. Edit, could have been worse, could have been crystal meth. I've done this in high school. My locker was like a little gas station. I'd go to Costco and buy huge Stride and 5 gum packs, energy drinks, sodas, chocolate, candies, and I made a huge profit. It paid my lunches for the whole year plus extra pocket money. The hall monitors kinda knew, but never snitched on me. Those were the days. Obligatory not a parent disclaimer. My nephew, 3, is an extremely slow eater, because he sits there talking instead of eating, and his mom was trying to get him to speed up by putting a stop clock next to him whilst he ate. I was Skyping with them one day during dinner time, and I noticed every time she turned around, he would pause the clock, and then start it again before she turned back. Okay, I'm not the parent of this kid, but I was his teacher in 5th grade. This kid was named Lennon. This is not a made up name. I love this kid. Be a D-bad, but a total wise ass and very bright. Anyway, Alka-Seltzer tablets were a fad at our school for a while because of the fizziness, but because it's considered a drug it was banned. So this ingenious duck sets up an Alka-Seltzer drug ring run out of the 5th grade restrooms. He had drug mules and everything. He would ask to use the restroom in different classes at specific times and arrange that with his henchmen. His drug mules, by the way, were our two boys whose pawpaw was a known drug runner through his trucking business, and they brought in most of the Alka-Seltzer tabs. He spread the word about the times he would be in the bathroom, and anyone who wanted Alka-Seltzer would go. They paid him in our school money we gave the kids as rewards. Eventually got busted because too many boys were having Alka-Seltzer fueled parties in the bathroom. and they got loud enough to be caught. Lenin got suspended for 3 days for that. Totally unrepentant when he came back. Actual parent here. I recently had to punish my 13-year-old for screen capping the school's campus page. They don't send notes, newsletters or shit anymore, all online, and photoshopping out the classes for the day, and adding a curriculum day. It was 35 degrees C. Her younger brother had a curriculum day, and we wanted to go to the beach but she had school. I didn't realize until the school called later in the day and left a voicemail asking why she was absent. She was banned from the internet for the weekend. I wasn't even mad. I would have done it as a kid if I could have. She definitely takes after me. I somehow got my mum's campus password and approved all of my absences without mum or the school knowing. I never got caught. School Loop is a website that lets parents and kids see their grades and assignment scores. In middle school, my kid recognized my pattern for checking his grades. I would go in his room after dinner and we would review the grades on his computer. So he would edit the HTML code, F12 I think, to edit the temp display of his grades to show higher scores and higher percentages. We now have a rule: refresh the damn website, F5, before any review. TLDR, kid edited HTML to show higher grades. My 5-year-old daughter is obsessed with YouTube. In particular the kind of videos where people open various kinds of toys and do funny voices and get excited about what they get. When it was getting out of hand, and she wasn't doing her chores and just being plain rude, I told her YouTube was banned, and deleted the app from her tablet and blocked access to browsers in general. She could still play games, it was just YouTube she couldn't do. The next day, I found her hiding under her blanket watching YouTube. The back door she found was to go into the Google Play Store and tap to watch the video of the app in use and from there link off to the video series she liked. Now she hates me because all she is allowed to do is watch TV. It's only a matter of time before she realizes that it's a smart TV that is YouTube ready. Not a parent, but my friend got grounded for a whole year when he got suspended from school for writing/running a program to install Halo 1 on the network of school computers. He was grounded further when his parents found out he was making hundreds of dollars by running a RuneScape private server. He was a few years younger than me, and no older than 16 at the time. Kid is smart as hell. Why grounding him for running a RuneScape server? I remember asking him this. So first off, his dad is a software engineer and one of good ethics. My friend got himself caught by buying stuff online with the money he got, and his dad found something he bought one day. So he had to tell his dad about the server. My friend is smart, but basically he did a lot of copy pasterizing, and he was definitely violating some copyrights. And his dad, being an ethical programmer, was not very happy, especially when he found out he had made nearly $1,000 from it. The snack cracker boxes were all open, and there were 3 or 4 mostly stale crackers left at the bottom of each of them. A few months earlier there was an awesome sale on Triscuits, so we stocked up. Our little genius had been helping herself, but still making it look as if we had plenty of unopened packages. She'd scarfed down 95% of the package, and swapped the box with a full one in back of the shelf. Discovered this when we had some friends over and went to fill up a snack bowl. 5 boxes, about 20 crackers in total. Was really hard to keep a straight face as we gave her a hard time about it. And was thankful that, at least it wasn't like that time a friend's kid stole about 80% of their liquor cabinet content by refilling the bottles with water. Not a parent, but my dad tells this one about my older brother. So in high school he was the cool kid smoking behind the gym, cutting class and always at a party. He used to sneak off to a pizza place for lunch every day till he got caught and told he couldn't leave school for lunch anymore. His solution? He ordered pizza to his classroom window. In the middle of class he stands up, walks to the window, opens it and grabs a pizza box. He pays the guy, sits down and enjoys. The principal and my dad both had a good laugh about it. My daughter at the age of 5 was employing her kindergarten friends to dig up special gems, which were actually just plastic craft sparkle things. Then she was selling the gems to other students for $2 each. Then going back and paying her little school friends with 50-cent icy poles from the canteen. and her friends who found the most gems would earn commission, and occasionally would be paid a packet of lollies $1.10. It got to the point where kids were begging to be employed by her as the payment was so good, and it created some issues as she had to fire some and employ others. This went on for about 2 months, until one day my daughter came home with $22. Next day I was called to the school to have a meeting about my daughter's business ventures. Teachers were actually so impressed by her ability to do something like this, but it was getting to the point where some kids would spend all their lunch money on these things. That day I had to tell my daughter how incredibly proud of her I am, because her mind is so advanced, but it's not the right thing to do at school. Since then, I've told her she can use her skills with my work, and she's constantly finding ways to upsell all the clients. Wish I had the skills she has. Not me, but a work colleague told this brilliant story just yesterday at lunch. Apparently his son was always getting in trouble in school for being a smart mouth, joking around, and just kind of being a general ass. School was calling and sending letters to him a lot. The son always said it was other kids pulling him into it, the teachers didn't like him, etc etc. But my coworker knew his son well enough that this wasn't the case. Said he tried punishing him in various ways, but like a lot of kids like this, once they get away from parents they act differently. So one day he takes him to school like normal, but parks the car and gets outside instead. The son is suspicious and surprised, asked him what he's doing. Co-worker says, I know you're having so many problems in school with teachers and other kids, and I believe you, so I want to find out what's really going on. And I'm going to do it by sitting right behind you in class. And not just your first class, but every class. And tomorrow, the next day, and the day after that until I can see what's going on. He planned to take a week off from work, and had got permission from the school, who thought this was an excellent idea, to make this work. He said his son lasted 2 classes before he begged him not to come to any more. Co-worker left and he never had any problems with his son after that. Son graduated and is a functional member of society. Worked at a group home for a few years. During chore time, we always struggled to get a kiddo to volunteer to help clean the kitchen. But all of a sudden, one of our teens volunteered and was in there for about 30 minutes wiping down counters and sweeping. She did a great job, and I know we took turns poking our heads in. Seemed legit. I'm working a double, so meds and bedtime comes and she gets to bed with no issue, and then I start to wonder what's going on. First she's volunteering to do the kitchen, now she's in bed on time. I call her out to go get her meds, since she rushed off to bed. Under her covers? Peanut butter crackers, Cheez-Its, fruit snacks. She comes up the stairs again to her bedroom and sees me in her doorway. I tell her I know she took snacks from the kitchen and give her the speech about asking for food and she'll be given it. She doesn't need to hoard it. I then ask her why, of all the snacks, she took the common ones, though we'd just gotten Oreos, Scooby snacks, trail mix. She told me that she knew we kept track of stuff like that and she thought she had a better chance of getting away with it if she took the crappy snacks. I could not let her finish them, because it was late and she had had her meds, and 9 other kids would have lost their shit if I let her, but she got to finish them as snacks the next day, while everyone else had cookies. I was working tech support for AT&T when a father called and irate that we were stealing his data. He used the AT&T app and was constantly checking the data usage of his 2 adolescent children, one of which a 10-year-old boy, who was constantly going over his data and using up the shared data bucket for the whole family. The father was tired of this and had blocked the data on his son's phone, but allowed his daughter, the good child, to use data on her phone, since she did so sparingly. Now this month AT&T was saying that his daughter had used 18 gigabytes of data in 1 month, incurring multiple expensive overage charges, and he was insisting that this was impossible. After a bit of digging, I discovered that someone had swapped the SIM cards between the brother and sister's phone, and then to hide the fact, also forwarded numbers from one phone to the other and vice versa, so Nan would be the wiser. I had to explain it to the father twice, and he was more amazed than pissed at his 10-year-old son's technological savvy.